Hey guys, Garrett McLaughlin here, and thank you for joining me on this video today for the exercise of the week. Today we will cover the dead bug, and then I'm going to show you a progression of the dead bug with stability ball, just to change the emphasis a small bit to where most runners are neglecting. So when it comes to the dead bug, we're looking at more core stabilization than core strength. Yes, we're getting these abdominals, these obliques from a strengthening endurance standpoint, but we're teaching ourselves how to maintain a neutral alignment between the rib cage, the spine, and pelvis as we move the opposite arm and opposite leg, which obviously is very similar to the action of running. So when you're doing the dead bug exercise, you really want to focus and emphasize the setup as best as possible. So getting into this position, when you're in this position, we're always starting with a deep exhale, right? You hear me say that a lot. Starting here, feet on the ground, rib cage, again, slightly open in this position. You feel a small arch at the lower back, but we're just going into a deep exhale to take your time over 10, 12, 15 seconds. Let all the air out of the lungs. You feel that rib cage start to compress down rather than being open in this flared position. What that does is set up rib cage, spine, and pelvis in a more neutral or centrated position. From there, while I'm keeping the rib cage down, engaging the abs lightly, I'm going to continue to breathe. So feeling myself inflate throughout the core all the way around 360 degrees, as opposed to automatically breathing and opening up the rib cage again. That's key. We want to make sure we can breathe and stabilize at the same time. So rib cage is down, core is engaged, I'm breathing. Inflating as I slowly go opposite arm and leg. As I do that, you can see I'm not trying to breathe at specific points. A lot of times with strength training, we get in the habit of I inhale at this point, I exhale at that point. When I do my low-level core stability exercises, I want to just breathe freely, continue to focus on nice, slow breaths, long exhales, keeping the rib cage down, keeping the core slightly engaged, and do the movement. I think a lot of times we overthink breathing at this time because it needs to be that way, rather than we want to consistently be able to breathe, stabilize, and move, and have those all happen independently of each other. So just going through here, a set of anywhere from 8 to 15 reps per side, so 16 to 30 total, if you want to look at it that way. Exhale, rib cage down, core's engaged, I'm breathing. At all times, because I'm keeping that rib cage down, my core is engaged and I'm breathing, I am not going into a more extended or lordotic position at the lower lumbar spine. So you'll see for some people who overly reach or lose stability, they're reaching, coming here, then you might not be able to see because of my jacket, but now there's this huge space here, right? At that point, we had lost stability at the spine. We're no longer centrated, rib cage open, pelvis is tilted, lower back is extended. We need to get back to the basics of getting that rib cage down, holding. So sometimes it might mean for you when you're starting out, limiting your range of motion. We don't need to go all the way down. We can tap the heel to the ground if we need to, but slowly progressing the movement to a fully extended position, arm and leg, will make that more challenging. One area that's really good to emphasize or to throw on top of the dead bug, adding the stability ball to that, and I'll show you how, because now we're getting more hip flexor engagement, so we're making the movement a little bit harder now. We still want all of those basics that we showed a second ago, rib cage down, core engaged, holding that neutral position at the spine and moving opposite arm and leg while continuing to breathe. Now, holding the ball between the thighs and the hands. We don't want to be up too high here. We want to be at the end of the quad and then driving our palms, our fingertips down into the ball, because what this is going to do as we pull together, automatically abdominals contract twice as hard. You're going to feel more tension, more stiffness throughout the core. So we're getting more muscles recruited as we can complete that same dead bug. So as I'm up here, I'm light to start. Exhale. Rib cage down, core engaged, continuing to breathe. Expanding. And now opposite arm, opposite leg. So you can see automatically, it's not hard, but I'm shaking a whole lot more because I'm creating tension and literally pulling into that position where the abdominals, obliques have to work twice as hard. And then I'm just completing the same exact movement. Not arching into the back. I don't want to lose my position. But driving strong. The harder you push into the ball, the harder, right? So with this core stability exercise, again, getting core stability, getting hip flexor strength on that dead bug, the stability ball variation at the end, I'm doing anywhere from 8 to 15 or so per side. I usually recommend on something like this, 2, maybe a third set, but usually 2 sets is adequate when it comes to the core stabilization exercises. Need to really emphasize setting up, rib cage down, core engage, and then continuing to breathe. If you notice at any point with core stability that you're not breathing, your face is turning red, you notice yourself in between reps really having to grab some air, you probably have gone too far. You probably cannot stabilize and breathe well in that position. So take a step back to an easier variation, whether it's just the legs moving here, just the arms moving. Make it easy, be able to breathe and stabilize simultaneously, because those are the big things we need to make sure we don't overlook just for the sake of a harder exercise or a harder movement. A lot of times we're looking for harder because we feel the core, we feel the obliques. That's great and all, but if we can't stabilize and breathe at the same time, we're really not completing an effective core stability exercise. So that's the dead bug and the dead bug with stability ball. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Any questions, any comments, feedback, feel free to drop that below. Let me know if you tried any of these variations before. Simple core stability exercises, but you can't go wrong mastering the basics. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will certainly talk to you soon. Thank you.